Good morning, Dutchtown Middle School. This is Mr. Vick, your seventh grade counselor here, and usually we appear on Mondays for table talks without the red table and Jada Pinkett Smith. So we've got a very special episode. We have Alex Thomas from the Fort Valley State University here with us to drop some knowledge about Fort Valley State University, my alma mater, my place of matriculation. Alex, it's great to have you on here. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm actually in Chicago right now trying to bring more Wildcats to the Valley. So it's always a great day in the Valley. And it's a pleasure to be here this morning to share all the information about our wonderful university.
I'm in the mindset I'm not for the talk, because if I talk, I'm a ramble. I'm gonna let you take it over.
All right, appreciate it, Mr. Vicks. Again, everybody, my name is Alex Thomas. I have the pleasure of serving as the Executive Director of Admissions at the Fort Valley State University, which is the #1 public HBCU for the last 5 years running, and we don't intend to give that title back.
Say that again. Say that louder. Say that louder. Say it for the people in the back.
It's the #1 public HBCU, and I'm not just saying that just to say that. That is from several publications, including the U.S. News World Report college rankings for the last 5 years. So, we can back up our talk. We have the credentials to prove it. And again, it's just a pleasure to be here this morning with you all to share information about our university. I do have a brief presentation that I'm going to share with you all. Feel free to stop and ask questions. I'll make sure to leave some time at the end to answer any questions that you all have. I think this is a critical time for you all, especially while you're in middle school, getting prepared to enter high school in a couple of years. You want to start thinking about that next step post-secondary after high school right now. So you don't want to wait all the way to the time you're a senior in high school, you're in 12th grade, and start making plans. So you really want to start exploring what you're interested in now. I always tell students, think about the subjects and the classes that you enjoy now, so that way you can kind of develop your passions. And by the time you get to college, you know what major you want to study, you know what career path you want to go towards. But at that time, I will go ahead and share my screen. So give me one moment. Can everybody see my screen? Can everybody see my screen here?
I can see it. I can see your screen.
Okay, perfect. Okay, all right.
The Fort Valley State University is an institution where students uncover their true potential, the intersection of dreams and realities, a place that empowers the possible. More than just a university, we foster the personal as well as intellectual growth of our students through hands-on learning, as well as deep individual connections with peers and faculty.
At FVSU, we are scholars.
Ranked the #1 public HBCU in Georgia for the past 4 years, is recognized for both the strength of its academic programs as well as its affordability and value. With almost 50 academic programs, our students can engage in a top-tier educational experience that includes undergraduate and graduate research.
At FVSU, we are community.
FVSU has something for everyone, from Greek life and marching band to student government and science clubs. There's over 60 campus organizations to help you discover and express your individual interests.
At FVSU, we're a family.
FVSU has an energy like no other, a vitality captured in how we play, in how we work, and in everything in between. FVSU is a place where lifelong bonds are created. We are a close-knit campus that promotes inclusion and diversity, forged in a common love for learning and personal growth. At FVSU, we empower the possible so our students can achieve the unimaginable. At the Fort Valley State University,
We are caregivers, problem solvers,
We are feeding the world.
and educating the future.
we are the Fort Valley State University. Empower the possible.
To everything that's offered at Fort Valley State University. I do want to take a moment to tell you all a little bit about the history of Fort Valley State University, because it is very interesting. It's something that's very important to a lot of people in our campus community. So Fort Valley State was actually founded in 1895. It started out as the Fort Valley High and Industrial School. It was actually a mixed race group of men who went to the Superior Court of nearby Houston County to petition for the creation of the school. And then many of the original buildings on campus were actually constructed by the first students. So the building, for example, that my office sits in, Carnegie Hall on campus, was actually built by the first students. There's so much legacy that's on our campus, and that's one of the reasons why people care so much about the university. Now, in 1939, we became Fort Valley State College. And then we, of course, expanded over the next 50 years. And then in 1996, we became Fort Valley State University when we began offering graduate degree programs. And that's where we are today. We're still growing. We're still expanding. And there's a lot that's on the horizon. Right now, we have over $30 million of infrastructure projects that are ongoing right now on our campus. So we're always building back bigger and better. Now, we offer over 30 different degree programs here at Fort Valley State. You'll see some of them listed here. The most popular ones, just based on enrollment, are biology, computer science, criminal justice, also psychology. And we're the only four-year university in Georgia to offer a degree in veterinary technology. So we have a state-of-the-art vet science center on our campus. Now, also, we are introducing a new degree program next fall. So by the time you all are looking at colleges and you're considering Fort Valley State, our new Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. So yes, our new nursing program will be up and running. It'll be several years in the making by the time you all reach that age. But we did sign a partnership agreement with Phoebe Putney Hospital in Southwest Georgia last year. And so our nursing students will have a hospital system where they can complete their clinical hours at, they can shadow other RNs, and basically they have the opportunity to land full-time jobs immediately after graduation with that partnership. Now, niche.com ranked us as having the best college dorms in Georgia last year. And one of the reasons why is because nobody on our campus actually shares a bedroom. So I know Mr. Vicks, a lot of alumni probably remember Jeans Hall and Boyd and some of the other some of the other buildings that were on campus back in the day, but they're no longer standing. But like I said, Fort Valley State is always building back bigger and better. And so now today we have Wildcat Commons, which features 7 residence halls on campus. And so typically your first year, you live in a 4-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. You share a living room and a small kitchen area with your roommates. So it is very convenient. You have that privacy, but you also still get that college roommate experience as well.
They don't know that struggle. They don't understand that struggle sharing a roommate. They don't know that struggle.
No, not at all. Not at all. So yeah, I had to go through the struggle of having community bathrooms, and the students now, as you can see in this video, they basically have a Jack and Jill style bathroom. They have their own sink. They're just sharing the living room and the kitchen area with their roommates. All right, so we have a dozen different NCAA Division II athletic teams, and you'll see them listed there. We are in the middle of all of our fall sports right now, so that includes football, women's volleyball as well, and so track and field. So we are super, super excited and to cheer on our Wildcats. Our football team right now is 6-1. And so they're doing really well. Our women's volleyball team is doing really well this season so far. And so you can get into any of these games completely free as a Fort Valley State student. if y'all have not come down to the Valley for a game, whether it be for football, basketball, softball, volleyball, whatever it might be, I would highly encourage you to do that. I know in the spring, so sometime probably in February, we'll be hosting our spring open house. And typically we host that around the last home basketball game. And all prospective students who attend will get a free ticket to the basketball game. So I highly encourage you all to continue checking our website. We'll announce that exact date for the spring open house sometime in December before we leave for the holiday break. And if you are interested in any of these athletic teams, I typically tell students, once you get to high school, it is a competitive process to get recruited because we are a Division II school, but you can always send out highlight videos, attend prospect camps that our coaches host, things like that to get noticed. And we do have some student athletes who go on to play at the professional level as well. We've had several players to go on and play in the NFL. I know that we had a couple of men's basketball players and women's basketball players as well that played overseas and played professionally. All right, so now I want to talk about some of the unique offerings that we have at Fort Valley State, things that make us stand out from all of the other competing schools. So the first one is super important. It's called the Cooperative Developmental Energy Program, otherwise known as CDEP. This is actually a program that you can get involved in as early as the 8th grade. So for you all who are listening in, if you're in the 7th grade right now, you're interested in engineering, you really love mathematics, you love physics, tune in right now because there is an opportunity because the CDEP program does have a feeder program that starts as early as the 8th grade. And basically they help push you and monitor you and help you progress through high school to get prepared to go into an engineering degree program once you actually start college. And so with CDEP, it's a dual degree track. So you'll actually graduate in 3 years instead of 4 with your bachelor's degree in college. And then what would be your senior year, that 4th year, you're actually working towards your master's degree, okay? So a lot of students who go through the program graduate in 5 years with 2 degrees. And we do partner with other universities such as Georgia Tech, University of Alabama, Penn State University, University of Texas, and University of Arkansas, just to name a few. And so once students earn their bachelor's degree from Fort Valley State in mathematics or physics or biology, they then go on to one of those partner institutions. And the neatest thing about the program is that a lot of huge corporations and companies give millions of dollars in grant funding to the university to fund the program. And so it's a full scholarship opportunity if you are accepted to the CDEP program. Not only will they pay for your bachelor's degree, but also your master's degree as well. And so we have graduates from CDEP who are working for huge companies like BP, ExxonMobil, Ford Motor Company, etc. And a lot of those jobs starting off making $80,000, $90,000 right out of school, which is phenomenal for somebody who's 23, 24 years old. Now, we also, as I mentioned before, offer the only 4-year veterinary technology degree program in Georgia. So we have that state-of-the-art O'Neill Vet Science Center. A lot of our vet tech graduates go on to veterinary school. And then also on top of that, a lot of our alumni are giving back. So, for example, 2 of our most famous alumni, if you all watch National Geographic, there's a TV show called Critter Fixers Country Vets. And the 2 stars of that TV show, National Geographic, are actually Fort Valley State grads. That's Dr. Bernard Hodges and Dr. Terrence Ferguson. And National Geographic actually agreed to give back $50,000 in scholarships to our vet tech students each year. And so we're super excited about where that program is going and, basically giving access to all the students who are interested in veterinary medicine. Then also, if you're interested in research for any students, if you're really involved with science fairs and you love science and you love exploring how things operate, then I definitely encourage you to consider Fort Valley State a few years from now because there's millions of dollars in funded research programs for our undergraduate students. And you don't have to wait until your junior or senior year. You can do this as early as your freshman year at Fort Valley. and get involved with our faculty as well. And then last but not least, we have a Center for Student Engagement on campus. So community service is a huge part of the campus culture at Fort Valley State. We always encourage our students to give back to the community. And so typically our Center for Student Engagement recommends at least 120 hours of community service for our students before they graduate. It's not required, but it is recommended. And then also on top of that, a lot of our student clubs and organizations give back above and beyond that 120 hours. So if you are interested in Greek life, you want to be involved in a fraternity or sorority, typically they have their own minimum requirements for community service. They go above and beyond that 120 hours. So that's just something for you to think about. And then also the community service is often partnered up with actual learning outcomes from your classes. So for example, you can get internship credit for working for nonprofit organizations and doing community service in the Fort Valley, Warner Robins area. Now, I don't want you all to get too caught up in the requirements because these, of course, could change a few years from now. But typically right now, students who apply to Fort Valley, as long as you maintain a B average, so if you're a B student, you have a 3.0 GPA, then you can be admitted to the university without test scores, which is a great deal right now. And so, of course, these requirements can change. Just make sure you're doing everything you can right now to start off your high school career the right way. So that's one of the important things I want you all to know is that in 9th grade, that's when we start looking at your grades for college. So I meet too many students oftentimes who might slack off their 9th or 10th grade year. And then all of a sudden they want to get serious their 11th and 12th grade year because they know college is right around the corner. Do not do that. Do not wait too late. Okay. So whenever we're evaluating your application, your transcripts for college, we're going as far back as your 9th grade year. So make sure you're doing everything you can now in the 7th and 8th grade to get prepared to start off your high school career the right way. And that's all of our contact information that you'll see listed there. Highly encourage you all to come schedule a campus tour. We do campus tours during the week, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. So definitely make sure you go to our website to schedule that.
All right, there's a bunch of questions in the chat. I want to try to. I'm gonna put them up on the screen because we fancy over here, so I feel like we're on TV. So I'm gonna place them on the screen. So we got Miss Edmonds. Are there any art majors or programs there?
So we do offer media studies as a degree program. So for students who are interested in mass communications, they're interested in broadcasting, journalism, those arts we do offer. We no longer offer visual arts. So for students who might be interested in, say, like fine arts, for example, drawing, sculpting, things of that nature, we no longer offer that as a degree program. But I would still say students who are really interested in that, you can still consider other programs like marketing, where you'll take some classes in graphic design. And so there's some other ways you can use that as an outlet towards another major. But specifically like visual arts, we don't. But we do offer a media studies program for students who are interested in mass communications.
All right, next question. Does Fort Valley offer business majors?
Yes, we do. So we offer business management. We offer marketing as well. We offer accounting. Supply chain and logistics management is a growing field as well. So understanding the importance of how products are shipped from one place to the other and shipped internationally, that's a growing program as well. So yes, we do offer 4 majors under our business department.
Okay, of course you do have cheerleading because there's cheerleaders for basketball, football, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
All right. This is a petty question. Where that one loss come from? He went to Albany State. He's trying to blame a student, but they have 2. But we're gonna keep it moving though.
Yeah, they got 2, and they lost to the same team we lost to. So, but anyway, I'm gonna move on. I ain't gonna be petty.
We're gonna go. Let's see. How can kids get involved with the engineering program?
So I can actually, what I'll do is, Mr. Vicks, I will send you the contact information for Miss Lisa Rashidi. She is the program coordinator for CDEP. So there is that feeder program for students as early as the 8th grade. So what I'll do, Mr. Vicks, I can email you Ms. Rashida's contact information. And so that way you'll have it for any middle school student who's interested in engineering.
All right, another question from Ms. McKinney. She's asking, do they have engineering or cybersecurity programs at Fort Valley?
We do. So we offer electronic engineering technology and also agriculture engineering technology. So a lot of students don't realize how the agriculture field is growing. So for example, right now we have a class where students actually operate drones, because drones are often used now to water crops, to drop pesticides and other chemicals on agriculture and crops fields to prevent diseases on the crops. And so there's all types of neat technology that's being used right now. Agriculture, we also offer electronic engineering technology. And then in addition to that, we have the CDEP program. So with CDEP, for students who might be interested in civil engineering or mechanical engineering or even computer engineering, we have those partnerships with other universities like Georgia Tech and Penn State and University of Alabama, where they get their 4-year degree from Fort Valley State, and then they can get their master's of science and engineering at one of those partner universities.
I think UNLV is still a part of university with Fort Valley.
Yes, UNLV, we have a partnership where students are interested in health physics. So if you're really good in math and statistics and you're interested in healthcare, there is a health physics program with CDEP. We have a partnership with UNLV.
I got another question that just popped up from Ms. Middlebrook. Students are asking what division is the school? Is Division II? If you don't mind me answering that, it's Division II based on enrollment. So if like FAMU would be in the FCS or division, or what you used to call Division I AA, but Fort Valley is Division II based on enrollment. So okay, what else? All right, we also have some 8th grade teachers on here. If you got any questions from your scholars and your classes, do not hesitate to put them in the chat. We're here for another maybe at most 10 minutes. If you got any questions, no questions or dumb question unless you don't ask. Now we got another question. What kind of scholarships does Fort Valley State offer?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have several scholarship opportunities for in-state students. So for Georgia students, we typically offer the Presidential Excellence Scholarship. So if you have at least a 3.25 GPA in high school and you take the SAT or ACT, then depending on your GPA test scores, and there's also an application that's involved that requires a short essay, you can receive up to $5,000 per year, and that's stacked on top of other financial aid that you receive. So if you have that 3.25 GPA and you're a Georgia student, you're automatically going to get the Hope Scholarship. Mm-hmm. And so that's going to pay 85% of your tuition right there off the bat, and then that $5,000 stacked on top of that. And then if you complete what's called the FAFSA, the Free Application for Federal Student Aid, you can get additional aid through like Pell Grant and other ways. And so that Presidential Excellence Scholarship gets you pretty close to being a full ride if you're an in-state student. Now, on top of that, depending on what your major is, you can be eligible for additional aid. So, for example, if you're a math major right now, we have a special scholarship through the National Science Foundation where you can get $8,000 per year. And that's stacked on top of any other aid that you receive. Or if you are majoring in anything in our College of Agriculture, so say, for example, plant science, animal science, agriculture economics, veterinary technology, you can be eligible for a full ride through the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Okay, and so with that USDA 1890 scholarship, the only catch is that for every year that you receive the scholarship, so it is renewable. So if you receive that scholarship for 4 years, you get a full ride. You don't pay anything for college. Then you have to commit to working for the U.S. Department of Agriculture for 4 years after graduation. And so that is one scholarship that's available to students interested in agriculture.
Another question: what is the acceptance rate?
Our acceptance rate last year was roughly about 65%. So a little over about two-thirds of the students who applied to Fort Valley State are admissible. Like I said, if you have a B average of 3.0, you can be admitted without test scores right now. If you have below that, as long as you have at least a 2.25 GPA, which is about a C average, low C, you can still be admitted. But then at that point, you will have to meet certain SAT, ACT criteria.
All right, remember, there's no dumb question that's out there. Ask anything that you can think of. And no, a question I ask is a dumb question because you didn't ask it. So any question you could think of that's relevant to Fort Valley State, please ask it now while we're here. So go ahead and get it in. Ms. Edmonds, great participation from her class. What are the expectations for scholar athletes? Specifically, what grade would they need to maintain to stay on any sports team like basketball, football?
I like this question. Because this is very important. Too many high school athletes are so wrapped up into what they're doing on the field, and they're not realizing the rigor of a college education once they actually get there. And so there are expectations for you as a scholar athlete once you get to college. Okay, so first of all, you have to be eligible according to the NCAA once you get here. Okay, so whenever you get to your senior year in high school, you're going to have to go through the NCAA Eligibility Center and make sure you upload all your transcripts to make sure that you're eligible, first of all. And then once you gain that initial eligibility, you still have to maintain a certain GPA based on the number of credit hours that you've actually earned in college. So once you get to college, each class is worth a certain credit, what we call a credit hour. Okay. And so the higher credits you have, the more, I guess, leniency that you have in terms of your GPA. But that first year, that freshman year, you're starting off with 0 unless you take like dual enrollment classes in high school, or if you have like AP credits that you've earned, you're starting off at 0 once you enter college. And so it's very important that you start off the right way that first year, because you don't have a whole lot of leeway starting off with 0 credit hours. So you typically have to maintain at least a 2.0 GPA to be eligible. Okay. And a lot of times it could be higher than that as you progress through your freshman year. So it's a sliding scale based upon how many credits you attempted and how many credits that you've actually earned. Now, on top of that, at Fort Valley State and a lot of other colleges, athletes will have study hall. You will have academic advisors who will help make sure you're taking the right classes towards your degree program. And so a lot of these things are mandatory and is part of just your everyday routine for our athletes at Fort Valley State. They practice, they go to class. You might have, depending on your sport, you might have a weightlifting or training session early in the morning. Then you shower, you go to class, and then after class, later afternoon, you might have practice. And then after practice, it might end with a meal, a team meal, and then study hall, and then you go to sleep. And you do it all over again. So it is definitely something that's not for everybody. You have to be very disciplined because the expectations are very high that you're doing everything the right way, not only on the field or on the court, but also in the classroom as well.
I got a couple more questions before we get you out of here. Do you advise scholar athletes to send highlight films for recruitment or for scholarships?
Yeah. So you can definitely email any highlights that you have to our athletic staff, and our athletic website. If you go to FVSUsports.com, that's our athletics website. It actually has a directory for all the coaches of the different sports. And so you'll see their email addresses there. And so for any athletes who have highlight video on like Huddle or any other websites, they can email that highlight video link to the coaches.
Good morning. Good morning. I have one more question. I know you have to leave, but for students who are freshmen often have a hard time adjusting. What supports are available for incoming freshmen as it relates to preparing for classes, studying, tutoring? What's available for incoming freshmen?
Yeah, so at Fort Valley State, we have a Center for Student Engagement and Achievement. And so with under that office, it encompasses all of our academic advisors. We also have a writing lab as well. And then we offer free tutoring for students, especially in their first and second year. So as they're navigating through a lot of those core classes that they have to complete regardless of their major. So that includes classes like English Composition 1, English Composition 2, your college algebra, your introduction to biology, all those classes that you have to take, we have free tutoring for those students. And so it's no additional cost. That writing lab is open up until about 7 p.m. in the evening. If you need help with writing a paper or you just need somebody to proofread it. And then also, in addition to that, we have peer advisors as well. So you'll often have upperclassmen students within your major who will serve as a peer advisors to help you transition from high school to college.
All right, last question. Ms. McWater asking for a class. Can you tell us what kind of nursing programs being started? What nursing degrees will be attainable? If you already asked, so she apologize.
No, that's fine. So we're starting a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing, a BSN program that's beginning fall of 2023. So next fall. We're in the process of turning Myers Hall. So Mr. Vixie, I don't know if you remember Myers Hall. It used to be the home to our Family and Consumer Sciences on campus.
Yep.
Right now, it is in the process of getting gutted on the inside. It is turning to a nursing simulation lab. So students have access to the latest technology, all the medical models that they need for their classes. And then we also signed a partnership agreement with Phoebe Putney Hospital there in Southwest Georgia. So our nursing students can actually complete their clinical hours. So typically with the nursing program, it's not direct entry. So they're only going to start off with about 40 students in the program next fall, and then they'll grow from there. And then you have to take all your prerequisite classes your freshman and sophomore year before you actually apply to the nursing program. The minimum GPA to be admitted to a nursing program is going to be 3.0 to start off. So if you don't have at least a 3.0, a B average in your first and second year, then you're not going to be able to actually be accepted to the program. And then starting your senior year, that's when you're doing a lot more clinical hours and shadowing actual RNs inside a hospital or clinic setting.
Okay. Last question. Before we get to that last question, seventh grade students, if you're in PE, you need your Chromebooks when you go to transition. All right. Last question. If you attend the school on a full ride scholarship and you start failing or getting in trouble behavior-wise, would you have to leave the school or you lose your scholarship?
It depends on the scholarship. So there are some scholarships that are offered at university that do have certain GPA requirements that you have to maintain. So for example, if you are receiving the Presidential Excellence Scholarship, you typically have to maintain at least a 3.0 GPA to keep it. If you are receiving our Searchlight Scholarship or some of our other scholarships, the minimum GPA in college that you have to maintain is a 2.5. For athletic scholarships, oftentimes you have to still be eligible according to NCAA guidelines to keep that athletic scholarship and be eligible to practice and play. And so, yes, I mean, if you start, not doing what you're supposed to do and you're failing classes, then yes, it's a possibility that you could lose your scholarship. And then in terms of leaving school, there are certain requirements for students to maintain in order to keep enrolling and registering for classes each semester. So typically, if your GPA falls below a 2.0, a C average, then you're automatically going on what's called academic probation. And then if you continue, like if you're below a 2.0 for two semesters or more, then at that point you go on academic dismissal. So you're not allowed to enroll at the school for one semester. So you have to take a break. And then in order to actually come back to re-enroll, you'll have to write explanation. You'll have to meet with a lot of our academic advisors and our student support staff so they can help coach you and understand why you aren't being successful and get you back on the right track before you re-enroll.
Mr. Thomas, we want to appreciate us. I'm speaking on behalf of Dutchtown Middle School. We want to appreciate you taking your time out of your busy schedule. You in the Windy City doing recruitment for the Fort Valley State University. And we appreciate you taking time out your schedule to chop it up with us today, man. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Go Wildcats.
They do offer band scholarships. Miss Middlebrooks, I can tell you that they do. I don't know how I missed that one, but yes, I wish I had a band scholarship when I was there to make my tuition a little bit lesser. But
They do, and it's audition. But yes, we do. We do offer band scholarship. We actually just had band day last Saturday on October 15th. So if anybody's interested, I can email that information to our band director over to Mr. Vicks. So you all can come out to band day next year.
Yeah, I got some. I showed some of y'all some footage when I marked, so that's like before HD. But anyway, we ain't gonna talk about that. Mr. Thomas, I know you got to get out here. We appreciate you, man. All right, Bulldogs, we out of here. Peace up, A-Town down. We'll see you in on